Today we have a very special guest with us, a friend of mine. Let's welcome Victoria, aka Tory Trades. Hi,
Hey,
how are you?
love the setup.
Thank you so much.
That looks great.
Thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate your presence. And basically, I have a lot of female followers. And since I have been watching you from a very long time and you're doing really great, I have been seeing your transition from, being a day trader to swing trader. One thing I really like about you is you just trade trend lines, correct? And that really, gives you an edge. So I basically wanted someone to guide to all the females out there specifically so that they can, also, because they want to do it but they don't have such kind of motivation. They think that it's majorly a men game. It requires a lot of knowledge, a lot of
Yeah.
technicalities. So you're the best person, I think, to guide them.
I appreciate it. And that's always been the goal. And I'm still every day trying to figure out, what would appeal more to the female audience? What are the pressure points? What's keeping them from coming in? So that's something that I'm still learning every day too.
So my first question is, you have been trading from 9 years, correct? For me, it was not just the money part that I have to make money and I have to get very rich in very less time. That was not the thing for me. For me, trading was like I just love numbers. So what kept
Okay.
you? Yeah, what kept you motivated? Ki you just continue the thing.
I'm going to say it's the same thing for me. So since I learned how to trade from a family member as well, my motivator wasn't like he doesn't have a Lambo. He doesn't flex like all these things and he doesn't live in this huge mansion. So I never associated trading with that. Isn't that the craziest thing? Like my mentor was just a very humble uncle who was home all the time and was able to take our family on trips. And I was like, that's what I want. I want the time. I want to be home. I want to have a family that's representative of this. So that was my drive. It was never money either. And I think that's maybe why it also took me a little bit longer too. There were, I think I want to say like a year or 2 years where I was on and off and on and off because it is hard. It's hard.
It is. It
And like
is.
to continue to go even when you don't see the results, it is a hard thing to do because there's no promise at the end.
Absolutely.
So it's just, all right, we got to keep this going. But yeah, the motivator was time and family and comfortability always.
That's really amazing, and it just connected me as well, because for me, I basically wanted to spend a lot of time with my family. I know there are other ways to make money. Money can be get from anywhere else, but the time, which is the most important thing, I can be sitting in my table and I can just be with my family every time.
Yes.
Second question is, even I guide a lot of people that you have to stick to one thing. I tell them, think in probabilities terms. If you're switching setups, you'll not be able to make it. So since you have been trading only trend lines, and I'm telling you, I'm really impressed by that, because I know very few people that have very specific setup that, okay, I'm going to use this much only. Nothing else, no more flashy things, just simple things. When it comes to me, I use 2-3 things. I use demand supply. I use trend lines a lot. And I use Fibonacci. 3 things are there which I use a lot. But
Okay, simple.
Yeah, simple. Nothing, flashy and indicators, nothing. Just simple things. You have been trading only trend line. So what kept you motivating that, okay, I have to use this? Because there must be some times where you must be feeling that, okay, this is gonna work. This is really going to, not going on my way. I should try other things. But what kept you motivating to stick to only trend lines?
I love this question. So, and it still goes back to like having that mentor. So there were times, I got to be totally honest, there were times where I was in drawdown, I wasn't seeing progress, I wasn't profitable, and I turned to point the finger at my mentor and my uncle, and I was like, I don't think he's really teaching me what he does because I can't make this work. And I'm like, there's something missing. There's got to be something else. And luckily that came and went. That feeling and that resentment came and went. And I was like, we're going to stick with it. We're going to stick to it. And it was simply that I had a tangible person. I think if it was like a guru or a mentor online where I couldn't like fully trust, I think that right there would have left room in my brain of like skepticism, like, you know what, maybe they're not being honest, maybe they're not being truthful, maybe the strategy doesn't really work. But the fact that I had a tangible person in my life that I could see living the lifestyle, I could see the bank accounts, I could see the trade accounts, I could see a representation of what he's doing. And for the entire year that I went to go learn with him, I was over his shoulder. I was seeing that he was trading with trend lines. And I remember when I sat down and he first taught me, he was like, there are thousands of ways to trade. Thousands. Absolutely. And he was like, I want you to not even consider it. I'm going to teach you. He's been trading for 30 years now. He's already gone through the entire cycle of trial and error. He's tried indicators and fundamentals and anything you could possibly imagine. He's gone through it all. And then full circle, go figure, he's like, turns out I'm the most successful with trend lines. Elementary, bringing it right back to the basics. He was like, what I teach you is all you're going to need to know. And I think being able to fully trust someone with that information is how you can stick to one thing for 9 years. And you could imagine, like, there was a time where when my uncle first taught me, I wasn't even involved in the trading community. I wasn't online. I wasn't looking at other traders. I had tunnel vision. I was in a bubble almost. So I was just doing everything my uncle was telling me, all the information he was giving me. I almost like sheltered myself, which was great. Then I had gotten into the trading community, and then there was yet another wave of like, am I really doing this right? I remember posting and talking about very openly. I was like, I trade trend lines. And then I got such negative feedback, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It was so confusing. So there was another wave of like, I'm doubting myself. Is this really, why is the entire community telling me I'm wrong? And I'm like, but I've seen success. I've got success. So it was very confusing. So then not only did I have to go through that second wave and bring back the confidence, but it's just, I'm going to have to say full circle here. The one thing that kept me trading the same strategy for 9 years is that I had a tangible person showing me the actual results of if I did stick to one strategy.
Nice. That was so amazing. You had your uncle. You have, very reliable person to look onto it. So if you want to give any suggestion to the audience that how you can stick to one setup, they still see us, you and me as well. I also, always say to choose one setup only, but they sometimes still feel what you said, if it's an online person. So we came in a doubt that whether this person is saying right things or not. So, what will you say to those? How to stick to one setup?
I'm going to say, if you're going to take a mentor route, and it's going to be a mentor online, you've got to possess some sort of discernment. You've got to do your research on the person. You've got to fully trust them. And I know that's hard to do online.
Absolutely.
So it's just finding someone that resonates with you. Is it the way they speak, how they speak, the things they teach? Have you done your research on them? Are they credible?
Yes.
What are their credentials? All of these things. Do your research so that you can trust somebody.
Correct.
And then just hit it hard, that one thing. And the coolest thing is, even if you do learn from someone that's maybe it's not, 100% lines up with everything that you want out of a mentor or a trader.
Yes.
You can still adapt and you can modify. And I think getting the chart time in, and there's so many things that if you stick with one strategy for long enough, you kind of throw in your own kind of like twist, or it's just like, I'd say the way that I trade trend lines, there's a little bit different things that I do that my uncle, so he would trade mostly trend line bounces.
Okay.
And I trade mostly breaks. So it's still the same strategy, but you'll find yourself kind of making modifications and seeing what works for you.
Yes.
But I think the solution to that is just do enough research to where you do feel comfortable and confident in the person that you're about to learn from.
Absolutely. That was a really great answer. In fact, I also read bounce a lot rather than, just break up. What is that one thing? What's your edge?
My edge is truly just knowing my instrument. Like, that's it.
That's
like
great.
It is. Trend lines are amazing. And there's so many different ways. You can do trend line channels. You can do waiting for the candle to close, trading on the bounce, the retest. There is so much.
So many.
Even with something as simple as trend lines. But I think the edge is knowing your instrument. Like with platinum, I'm much more confident in taking the break and then staying in for the trend for the entirety of it. Oil, I'm a little bit more skeptical. I'm more inclined to wait for the candle to close. I'm more inclined to wait for a retest. And it's simply just knowing your instrument. You just got to know it. I think any strategy, you're going to have an edge simply by just knowing your instrument alone. I think that's the edge right there, is getting the chart time in and watching it and building a relationship with the instrument. I think that's the edge.
That was a really phenomenal answer, because there's one instrument here. It's called Bank Nifty. So it's an index of all the banks. I trade future and options only Bank Nifty. There are 15 other index in India, but I trade only Bank Nifty. And that's what I say every time. You got to know your instrument. If you know exactly what it is, things go very easy for you. So then that's another example for the, the audience to second person, very credible person to who is saying just know your instrument, stick to one thing, stick to one strategy, and you'll make it. That was so good answer. Thank you so
And
much.
to piggyback off of that,
Yeah.
there was one more concept that I thought was really interesting was
Yeah.
there could be a trader that doesn't know much about strategy,
Yeah.
but has watched
Yeah.
a chart,
Yeah.
just one singular chart for, we'll say, a year, 2 years, 3 years. The trader that's just simply got no knowledge in any strategies, but has just simply seen the movement and has seen the patterns and recognizes when, it fakes out, how
Correct.
much it moves in a day,
Correct.
what's irregular, what's regular. The trader that just simply has got the chart time in versus the one that's hopping strategies and trying to
Exactly.
incorporate this and this and this. I think that trader, even if they don't know much about trading
Yes.
at all, is probably more likely to be more successful than the other one.
Absolutely. I totally agree on that. That was really, really a great advice. You get to know everything, how they are moving, whether they're moving, because there are multiple instruments that can move very quickly. Some can be very slow and steady. So you got to know your instrument. That was really great. Thank
Exactly.
you so much. This question, will clear a lot of, especially the female audience doubts. Like if any person is there who is just a homemaker or, a college girl, if she wants to start, so how she can start means what is that one step that she can take it right now, right after watching this video, she can just go and start doing it. What will you advise to that?
I'm gonna say, I think what got me to do it, because I would never even would have never in any lifetime would I have known I'd be a trader. And I gotta say it's all thanks to my uncle. So I'm gonna say finding something that makes it less intimidating. You don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want to be intimidated.
Yes.
You don't want to feel, lesser than or not as capable. Like you want to be empowered and you want to be confident.
Correct.
And I think it could be, if you had to do something right now, I would say download TradingView and give yourself 5 instruments and just take a look at the charts. That could be the very first thing. Just look at it every day. Just open up. Maybe it's something as simple as Apple. Maybe we're looking at Apple every day. Let's just see what it does. I think number one is just get familiar with the platform, because that's going to be intimidating. It's a new thing that you have to learn. You got to figure out, where do you type in the item on your watch list? Where do you put the ticker symbol? How do you move time frames? I'd say just get comfortable and familiar with the charts. And then from there, you'll start getting a lot more comfortable with, okay, I see this is what it does every day. This is how I move down time frames. This is how I zoom in and zoom out. I'm going to say just get comfortable with the charts first, so it doesn't seem as intimidating. And then naturally, you'll start to research more. You'll start to find, things on the internet. And since there is a plethora of things and teachers and people and communities and strategies, I think just starting with looking at the charts, I think is step one right there.
That was really great advice. So hopping onto the charts and seeing it every day, let's say if you figure it out for 30 days, that will do a lot of things for you. That's great.
Yes,
That's great.
absolutely.
When, let's say, especially female things, it's really difficult for them, especially a homemaker or a housewife. They wanted to get some amount of money by giving some amount of time. They also have their families to manage. So any specific suggestion to them how they can do the both? And is it really possible for them to make it, whether, looking after the family as well as, learning trading and making out into it? Is it
I'm going to
really?
say hands down, 100%. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't have a family yet, but the amount of free time that I actually truly have is mind blowing. And I just now started doing like vlog series.
Yes,
so
I've
I let people get an inside look.
Yeah.
And now they can see how much time trading actually takes up in my day. And it is not much anymore. I think it's a matter of you learn, you figure out what works for you. At the beginning of my trading career, it was the 5-minute time frame. And that did take up a lot of my time, because I tried to trade for, most of the market open, especially the stock market. I was trying to just be in for all of the New York session.
Okay.
So that took up a lot of time. And then I realized, okay, I don't have to trade all day. So then I would just find times within my day to trade the 5-minute here. I'd give myself an hour. I'd give myself 2 hours. And then I started moving up time frames. And that's when life got so much easier. Oh my gosh. Now I have graduated. I've made it to the 4-hour time frame, which is not easy.
Yes.
I will say it's not.
Yes, it's not.
Having the patience, having open trades for weeks, exhausting. And it's it takes maturity as a trader to get up to those time frames. But
Yes.
the amount of freedom that you get from it is incredible. You have to sit on your hands for days on end until you
Yes.
even wait for an entry or a setup.
Yes. Yes.
And then when you get that setup, you could be in that trade for a week, 2 weeks. And the coolest thing is you don't have to be looking at it every day. You've got your take profit, you got your stop loss. Let the thing play out. You don't have to look at it every single day because one candle is 4 hours. What are you going to do? Watch a 4 hour candle?
Absolutely.
That sounds exhausting.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's 1,000% absolutely possible to have a family, be a stay-at-home mom, and to earn an additional source of income. And I think it's just a matter of carving out time. When it's nap time,
Yes.
let's get some chart time in. Let's get some practice. Let's get some
Yes.
experience. At night, when the kids are down, the futures market's still open. There's
Yes.
still
Yes.
opportunities.
Yes.
So it's incredible working around the schedule with the kids and understanding that it doesn't have to be you're in front of the charts for 6 hours in the day.
Correct.
Now, sometimes that's what a lot of people do it will speed up the process, obviously.
Yes.
The stay-at-home mom that can only learn how to trade during nap time and at night, it might take her a little bit longer. And just
Yes.
understanding that it's because the commitment or the time commitment that you have to invest into learning, it just might take you a little bit longer. Whereas some people, like myself, I didn't have a family when I was learning, so I could spend 6 hours in front of the chart all
Yes.
day.
Yes.
And so it maybe kickstarted me to move a little bit farther, a little bit faster than maybe the stay-at-home mom would. But I don't want them to get discouraged. Like it is so worth it. It is worth the nap time, chart time. It's worth the looking at the charts when kids are asleep or even before they wake up. It's absolutely worth it, and it doesn't require that much time once you've made it. Once you've put the chart time in, once you've gotten
Yes.
the experience,
Yes.
it really can be minimal.
That was a beautiful explanation. And to add on to it, I will say all the people who are watching out there, just go into YouTube and just search for Tory Trades and just look at the vlog. One of the vlog which I've seen for a few hours is you just woke up, you're just brushing and you made $300 in just 5 minutes, and you just close the day. So for all the females who are watching out there, it can be that easy. So
Exactly.
definitely, it's going to take time. It's not going to be happen in just next month. But what I always say is, even if you are putting, let's say, 3 years from here, 4 years from here, that's worth of putting it.
I couldn't agree more.
People always think that it's the so difficult thing. It is difficult, but there are other things also that are way more difficult. Like here in India, if I tell you, there are many exams that people really do efforts for preparation for 5 years, 6 years, and still they don't get pass out from that exam. It's definitely worth putting time. And everyone who is watching out there, do check out Tory Trades, in YouTube as well. She's doing phenomenal, and I have been also, really watching your vlogs, and I found really starting, and that motivated me as well. I also thought one day, let me just start vlogging. After
Yeah.
watching you,
It's not as crazy. It's not as hard.
Yeah, it's not as, because honestly, I'm not a very I don't know how my social media got just blown up in just 1 year, but I'm not a very social media expert kind of a guy, so I don't know exactly how to vlog and all. I tried once. It was horrible, so I just kept that thing in private. So but now I am motivated from you to just start onto the vlogs as well. And I'm really loving your vlogs.
I really appreciate it. I think it's so cool to give it that. Like, I think that's the most realistic example
Yes.
of like what you can get from
Yes,
trading, at
yes.
least from traders like you and I who are looking for time.
Yes.
And we're looking for freedom and comfortability.
Yes.
Whereas we're not just chasing the money. And this
Yes.
is a beautiful representation. Like my vlogs that's a literal day in the life. Like there was nothing I changed except for taking a camera around with me every
Yes,
day.
yes. So great. That was it from my side, and I'm really hoping that all the Indians out there, they're going to really love this thing, because many of my, in fact, when I teach in my class, I do take online classes. So I give your example. Even though we are just meeting first time in the meet, I always, when it comes to tell all the students that you have to stick to one setup. I always give your example. Go into the Instagram, search for Tory Trades, look into it. Just see how that one person is just doing trend lines and making thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
That's thank you so much for being such a great example. And yeah, that was it from my side.
I appreciate that so much. This was a very refreshing interview. This was one of the best ones I've done in a while. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Phenomenal conversation. I hope you must have learned a lot, especially all the females out there. We have did this on your request. Do check out Tory Trades on YouTube and Instagram, and all of our social media links are in the description. So give your full love and support, and see you next time. Bye.